You are about to listen to the Neverdaily podcast.
This is the biggest thing since the Zapruder film.
So many questions.
I don't have any answers.
But please don't stop listening
to the Neverdaily podcast.
Welcome to episode 135 of the Neverdaily podcast. We are coming to you from 4 locations within the United States.
Right.
Coming to you from world headquarters in Idaho, world headquarters in Kentucky, world headquarters in Chase lives in a cave near a lake that's next to an ocean that's next to a depression clinic, and Jess lives wherever the frick she wants, is what she said. So
the headquarters in Kentucky is just a 80s model brown trailer. Paper thin walls. So you can really pick up on the slaps from your father onto your mother.
Wow. Oh.
And hear your little brother being made through rape. But it's Kentucky, so it's like she agreed to marry me, so that belongs to me.
That's illegal. Oh. Hey, Kent, what is your body count for number of trailers you've lived in?
Does a double wide count?
That counts as, I'd count it as 2, but we could count it as 1. Depends on how big of a number you want.
If it counts as 2, then 4. Because I lived in one. In Berea, I did live in that 80s brown trailer. And my mom did keep it spotless, though. I've talked about this. The only like real redneck thing about that trailer, aside from it was an 80s trailer, was that we had possums living under our kitchen sink.
What?
Mama got in there and gave birth to a bunch of baby possums, and that's a real Kentucky problem to have. But and then we moved to a trailer in Broadhead, Kentucky, and then when my parents saved up money, we got that double wide baby, and that's when like things really started looking up for us.
Now you know the way I would put it is that trailers have gotten kind of a bad rap. Like, you know, they generalize a slice of population, and
I think you say that, but I think like I know I could have drove a 4-wheeler all the way through our trailer probably if I was going fast enough. Like if I got a good run, even a 3-wheeler, I could go right through the wall of the living room and out the other side and probably not even be hurt
because of the thinness of the walls.
Yeah. That's like the one running theme with trailers is how thin the walls are. You can hear it. You can be on one end of the trailer and one of your parents be on the other end of the trailer in the bathroom and hear them fart in the toilet. Trailers really aren't a place for privacy.
Nah. There was a lady one time, she asked me if I could come by her trailer and check. She's like, I've got mold. I just don't know if it's the deadly kind. And I was like, well, most of them aren't good anyway. So I went by and she walks me into her bathroom and she has just black mold.
Yeah.
In her shower surround. Also, though, interesting, while she showers, she can get a good look at 11th Avenue right outside of her shower surround through the holes in her shower surround. I was like, well, what do you do in the wintertime? She goes, believe it or not, you take enough showers in the wintertime and those will freeze right up.
Yeah. Problem solved. And that's the problem solving capabilities of somebody that would live in a trailer like that. You just got more showers. That's the solution.
You know,
but it's also like adding to your black mold problem. So it's like fixing one problem while bumping up another.
You know, I have a lot of compassion for caseworkers. And I think caseworkers get a bad rap in a lot of times too, because the generalization is, especially in really destitute areas, that workers may not just give a crap. But the thing is, it's hard to see somebody that is living in a situation that is less than you're blessed to have, and not feel like a sense of immediacy about fixing it.
Yeah.
But it's also it's an objectivity problem, because on one side you're like, there is so much we could do to fix this. Like this lady, for example, holes in her shower surround, black mold, bunk beds for her kids, top bunk bed, pillow right next to the cracked window where you could put a fist through. Probably had a fist put through it, but just an open window. And this was like November.
I think that's actually one of the celebratory things when you buy a trailer off a lot, like a brand new one. The salesman, when you're standing in the living room, you sign the paperwork. He says, "Well, congratulations," and then he just turns and punches a hole in the wall.
It's like christening a ship with the bottle,
like the glass breaking in a Jewish marriage. It's tradition in Kentucky that the salesman gets to put the first hole.
I feel really bad for case. No, I don't feel bad for caseworkers. I guess you gain an appreciation when you find means to do service for other people. That there were so many times where I would walk away from helping out somewhere. One time I was at a house, but the husband had been put in prison and wasn't coming back anytime soon. So she had called and said, "Hey, is there any way you guys could help me mow my backyard?" And I was like, "That's not a euphemism, is it?" She's like, "No, just come over and mow my backyard, perv." And I was like, "All right." So we went over, and it was amazing. Like, she needed to have her lawn mowed, her backyard mowed, right?
Yeah.
I knew once you get out there that what she needs is about 10 steps away from what we have to do first. Like, I said, "All right, well, this might take us more time than we thought." We had come over with lawnmowers and edgers and all kinds of, to do the work. And I was like, first we have to get the F-250 rear differentials and axles out of the
I already knew you were going to say that.
You can't see.
I already knew you were going to say that. I knew that rear differential was there. Came with the trailer.
They were, stuff was every. Who's coming on? Who is that?
Who the fuck was
S?
that?
S. It was just S.
That's our guest. She'll be back.
We have a guest?
Who is S?
Yeah,
That's
I have
fun.
a surprise for you today.
Is S for surprise?
Sure.
Well, I'll just keep telling my story until S shows back.
It's not Nev Campbell, is it?
I'm not that cool.
It's not Shia LaBeouf, is it? I'll finish my story. So, so we had a lot of things. Like, so we got the big heavy stuff out of the way, and then we were like, okay, we could take a crack at this. And one of us starts in a corner and just like, just kills the mower, and we go and look under, and there's like a spring.
Yep.
That was just, so
there's a coil.
Yeah. And he was a mechanic of sorts, which made sense why, but the grass was knee high, so you couldn't see much of what was in the grass. Oh, yeah. And okay.
Chase a baby fawn out of the backyard.
Seriously, there could have been rabbits. It took us days. And so I've gained kind of an appreciation for caseworkers who have to go in, and they want the best for whoever's in the home, right? but they have to stay pragmatic. They have to stay objective in that every time you go in, you could literally condemn the house probably every time, but you'd be putting a family out on the street, so it's weird. Also, you know what I think that does? I think that kind of experience and having experience like that and having exposure and then driving home to what you have or, where you live, I think it tempers that microwave emotional reaction that we want to have when we see something like that and instantly go, we need to change the world. Because that stuff takes so much effort. Like you can't just litigate or legislate that kind of a change because you got to change. Oh, somebody's back. Hold on, somebody's back. Ah,
Hey.
hi.
Hello.
What?
It just says Squadcaster EE9F.
It would not work for me on the laptop. So I
Her
have to
network
use
is
it on my
struggling, I
phone.
think. Do you know who that
yeah.
is?
No, I'm
Do you
trying
know
to
who it
place
is?
the face.
It's our
No.
apex predator, Kylie.
No.
Okay.
Hey,
That's awesome.
your video's a little jittery, but we can see. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What time is it there? Because you're in Australia, right?
Can I guess?
Yeah.
You guess.
Yeah, 8:30.
What part of Australia are you in?
Melbourne.
Okay, I'm going to try to guess. Melbourne.
She just said it, 8:30.
Oh,
Australia.
Kylie said 8:30.
8:36 a.m. there.
No.
Is it the morning? In the morning?
Yeah.
Whoa. Who
Yeah.
was next to you? I saw somebody standing next to you.
This is Kayla.
Hi,
Hey.
Kayla. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's my
What's the
daughter.
future like?
Well, so Kayla, I don't know if your mom has said anything to you, but your mom is the only Apex member, lifetime member that we have at 1150.
One and only.
She is the one and only. She is the highest valued member of the Hug Dealer family, of the 1159 family. And I don't know if you knew that.
How old are you, Kayla?
22. 22.
22? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was going to say if she's 16, that's the reason she doesn't have a car yet. Because
Oh, so
well,
thank you so much. What do you have planned for your day there in Melbourne?
We've got some meetings for Kayla, but that's about it.
Oh yeah. Is school in session there, or do you guys have summer breaks or anything like that?
Yeah, we've got school, but that finishes up in December, so in 3 months.
Oh, okay. Do you have reverse seasons from us? They have reverse seasons. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is it 8:36 in the morning on Tuesday there, or 8:36 in the morning? It's 8:36 in the morning on Tuesday. Oh wow!
Wow, we're talking to somebody in the future.
Yeah, did we pull through? Did we? So Op was rambling about that. What was that superconductor?
LK99.
Did LK99 ever amount to anything?
We should have Kylie come on the show and give us lottery numbers for the day before.
Yeah, why hasn't nobody thought about this?
I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Wouldn't it be amazing if we were the first ones to think of it, though? Oh, wow. What a surprise. This is so cool. Okay, so I have to ask. I don't want to ask, but I have to ask. And I want you to be honest. I don't want you to feel pressured one way or the other. Which show of the 1159 shows would you say is your favorite?
Well, Jack's gone, so none.
Ah, shit. Touche. Oh, I know what happened then. She must have put in to be an Apex member the day before Jack left. And so, but she was already committed because it was in the future. And she was like, well,
Yeah.
I guess it is what it is.
I'm stuck now.
Oh. Okay, so without being bereft of Jack, being without Jack, what fills your earballs the most? Like, is it? I don't know. Is it 911 calls? What would you say there, Kylie?
What would we say? Kayla has no idea. Would go true crime camp. Because we want to make a problem.
Yeah, need to make Kent a problem. I agree. You know what's funny?
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
I've got more. I can't. What did she say? Her favorite show was? I'm not.
She kind of broke up. It broke up a little.
What was it? I just want to hear you say it because she broke up there.
I think what she said is, I listened to all of them because I have truly to pay the rent. I think that's what
it seems like. I just thought I heard Crime Kent at the end of.
I think I heard Prime Rental. I think that's what it is. The rent is at a prime rate right now. What's
your favorite TCK episode?
It would have to be. Now you put me on the spot. Albert Fish.
Okay, that's a good answer. For me, I think it's probably Michael Malloy. That was a lot of fun to research and do. And you don't have to name a favorite 911 call
you don't.
episode. I know you're just going to have to say something. You're desperately Googling, like even just name an episode.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. We all
focused right now.
What was that?
I said my app is not focused while I'm Googling away.
She knows about app is not focused. That's amazing. Oh, well, you know how I operate, Kylie, and I made some bold claims. As an Apex member, I promised a lot of stuff. I was like, hey, I'm going to send you stuff.
Yeah. Well, I haven't got a single thing.
And I haven't done that yet. No, I know. And I'm thinking that maybe this is why Jess had you on. I think after having you on, Jess is just going to keep surprising us with people that I owe stuff to. Like,
I can be the next one.
It just becomes a show full of like refund requests.
Hey, listen, I won. That reminds me. Way back when, before I was ever a part of 1159 Media, I won, Sam, a Heroku or whatever it's called, where we had to make a poem.
Oh, haiku.
You guys had a haiku poem, and I was just a listener. I wasn't a part of 1159 Media, and I won it. And you said I was going to get a hoodie, and I never received that hoodie.
You didn't receive it.
No.
Which do you remember which show hoodie you wanted?
I think it was Dark Topic. So if you could make me a Dark Topic hoodie.
I can. I will. Just please put that on the list. You know what? Have Kent on in a couple months to request his missing items.
I would also like to talk to you about having some things 3D printed.
Yes. You'll have to talk to my assistant about that, and just send an email to requests
I
at
also
11.
need to talk to you about, like, a few months ago, I had a little wild period in my life where I went out to Colorado and left my family for a little bit and spent days out there in Colorado filming content. And that footage, I don't know if you could look into that.
I will look into it. I will. You're actually gonna love what I'm doing with the content. I tell you what, everyone's gonna love it. You know what would be really here's an apples to apples, and I think Kylie, do you have anything, like, do you work anywhere particular, or are you stay at home?
Yeah. I do stay at home. I run my own business from home.
Oh, you have a
And
business
that's
from
how
home?
I got Kate. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you'll understand what I'm about to say. So, hypothetically speaking, if, like, wouldn't it be funny if you had to call up Warren Buffett, who's the most wealthy investor ever, basically, and said, "Hey, I'd like to get some Warren Buffett stickers," and Warren Buffett was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make those this weekend. I'm gonna do it," and you're like, "What?" We need to work that through, so I'm not doing anything that is promised to anybody ever again.
Are you comparing yourself to
'Cause it
Warren
never
Buffett?
No, no, but yeah, but in a really minor way. So
I would just really appreciate a Dark Topic hoodie that I
Okay.
won
Yeah.
3 years ago.
While we're on the topic, and Kylie,
While we're on the dark topic.
While we're on the dark topic, I owe Kylie a bunch of stuff. I owe you a hoodie. Also, boy, I'm about to get in trouble here. I have the 2023 Cats poster. That's
You still haven't.
and the glasses. So, we really need to move on. This is no one's liking this. No one's liking this. I can guarantee no listeners liking this. No one's liking hearing everything I owe people.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know if Kylie had any questions or anything she wanted to ask or things that she wanted to bring up. I was going to give her an opportunity, and then, I know that you had a couple things planned for the show today, but I wanted to surprise you with
This is such a cool surprise.
our apex predator.
Kylie, do you have any questions for Kent?
I'm an open book.
No questions for now, but
Okay.
Are you sure my body is ready?
Though Kylie, you have we have an open policy for you that we are to take with the most credence and the most seriousness all requests coming from our Apex lone Apex member. So anytime you have a request or a thought or anything, I don't know if you knew this, but you can actually email you personally. Everybody else, if anybody else sends an email to this email address, it gets deleted. But Kylie, if you send something to Apex at 1159 Media, we basically have to do whatever you.
It's like the little suction thing at the bank. It's like your personal little suction tube where you put that capsule.
Right. Yeah. So anytime you're got a question or missing, some deliveries, anything, you let us know, and we have to hop to. We have to hop to for you.
Well, there is something actually. I don't want to make Kent look stupid.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
I do a pretty good job of that on my own.
A while ago, I requested the Muffin Man.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. I didn't mean the actual Muffin Man. I meant the TikTok video.
yes.
TikTok
And
video.
now you have an answer for that, I believe, right? We talked about that a little while ago.
The Muffin Man TikTok.
So Kylie, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're talking about the real Muffin Man, the history behind the real Muffin Man, right?
No.
No.
Okay. The Muffin Man.
Because I know that while Kent's looking for this, I know that Kent went down the rabbit hole of
I started writing the script, the outline for it.
Muffin Man. And then we found out that even the true history of the Muffin Man was actually not true. But you're talking about something different than you're talking about the Muffin Man TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Muffin Man TikTok.
We're gonna have to hop to on that,
The
Kent.
Muffin Man original video. I'm looking it up now.
Okay.
It was very
I'm excited
viral.
to see what Kent. Very viral.
Are you talking about the guy screaming from his gurney in the hospital?
There's a lot of different ones.
Oh.
Adam Lambert, the Muffin Man.
Okay. Well, you know what, for the next Neverdaily, because I'm gonna fall on the sword for Kent here. I feel like it's up to me to do the due diligence on the stick to itiveness of the people on this show. And Kylie, I want to tell you from my heart, I am sorry that Kent has dropped the ball.
I just don't know who to cover. I don't know what actually, if you would send me a link.
Oh yeah, send him a link.
Put it in the little suction tube, and I will absolutely look into it.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Muffin Man, like the famous, I think it was in England, murderer that ended up being just in a wives' tale. And I think we actually lost Kylie.
Well, I think we can still hear her. Yeah, we can hear her. That's okay. So Kylie, send that, as a test, send that information, send it if you can to apex at 1159media.com. And you know what? I'm going to run that right through. I'm going to ram that right through. We're going to make sure this is high priority. Just can't believe we dropped the ball on this, Kent.
I'd be happy to do whatever you want me to do. It just needs all I need is like a real case. I'm just glad that your request for TCK was to stop covering murderers. Wasn't to stop covering murderers. That's what one person wanted. Just stop covering murders. I really liked the crime, but I'm looking for more of numerical type crimes, paperwork type crimes, DMV crime related. Yeah.
Well, we're starting to build a short list of serial 1-star givers who go every week to give us 1 star just to like hurt us. And I think there might be some murders in the future. We can figure that out. So just saying. All right, so Kent's going to work on that. Kent's going to look that up. Kent, if you need any help with research for that, or any help with like Google Street Map, Street View, or anything like that, you let me know, and I will then put it on Chase's list.
Okay.
To help.
Yeah, I'll just pin it right underneath dark topic hoodie.
Yeah, and 3D printed items. Yeah, you do that. Well, Kylie, yeah, it does look like we might have lost your video and everything. We can't tell you thank you enough, actually. When you signed up as an Apex member, you saved 1159's bacon at that moment. You don't know this financially, but you helped bridge the cost that was outstanding for a rain jacket that I had accidentally bought that was not going to be refunded. I don't know what happened, but it was about to go to collections, and Kylie, you helped, because that much Gore-Tex fabric, really expensive. That's all I'm going to say. Super expensive. Why did you get a legit studio instead of being in the garage? That's a good point.
Yeah, or you could even take some of that money and make a Dark Topic hoodie.
All right, I get the picture.
Or I don't know how much it costs to ship one cat calendar.
So much. I mean, the complexity with logistics is just overwhelming.
Who's supposed to get the cat calendar?
Yeah. Who did you say? Did you ask who that was?
Yeah.
Oh, it was. It's Johnson. So this has been great.
Yeah.
Kylie, you're one of our most favorite people in the world. I would be, if I said you're my most favorite, my mom would immediately call me. So we're just going to say you're right up there, right underneath my mom. And we love you so much for all of your support. What Chase's mic is muted, but Chase is saying, I love her more than my own mother. That's crazy, Chase. Okay. Odd flex. Well,
what people don't know is Chase is actually just a pre-recorded me. All I do is take my glasses off and go film it in my closet.
Well, Kylie, I don't know if you've got anything going on, but if you stick around in the backdoor access and Jess sees any requests or texts that seem like they're of Apex priority, we will respond to them in Apex fashion during this episode. So just know that even after we turn your video off here, you're still numero quando, I think is numero quando, numero estrella.
What I'll do is I'll move you to the backstage so you can still watch and listen if you want. And we just wanted to say thank you, and I wanted to catch them off guard.
So. You did. Thank you so much. And we have so much coming your way. So much shipments.
We'll get them sent.
Crazy.
We will.
Apex at 1159media.com. Send that on and we'll get you taken care of.
Thanks.
All right.
We love you, Kylie.
Thank you. Thank you, Kylie.
All right.
Okay. Bye. Oh, Jess, that was a surprise. That was a really good surprise. Like, you're good with surprises. That was really cool.
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either. That was really neat.
Next week, we'll have Jack. No, I'm kidding.
And we'll have more we want to talk about.
I do want to correct something that we were talking about before that. Trailers are a great place to grow up, because it sounded like we were talking down on them.
Yeah. No.
And as a white man from Appalachia, I want to say that my mother raised me and my brothers and sister in a trailer, and we had a great upbringing. And we got to know each other even better because of those paper thin walls. Maybe even better than a lot of families get to know, because there's no secrets in a trailer. And
so I I would agree. Like you're shoulder to shoulder a lot of the time, and things have also evolved. And I think this is a great thing because we all know housing prices have gotten out of control. My dad's actually a developer. He's developed everything from Walmarts down to tiny homes. And his thing right now is manufactured homes, manufactured building is
Yeah.
his passion, and it really is it's everything that we learned how to do to make trailers, only make them look just like a house on a foundation, which is really the only difference between a trailer and what you would consider a not trailer is that the trailer is up off the ground and usually is typically skirted, whereas a house sits on a foundation. Both can be homes, though. Both.
What's your most memorable trailer experience?
Boy, I tell you what. You know what it
I'm
was?
talking kind of trashy trailer experience.
Okay, all right. One time, I'm going to have to say when The Dark Knight Rises was shown before we were there to watch Star Wars, I believe. And when The Dark Knight Rises trailer came on, I was like blown away. Like the crowd went crazy.
Oh, I see what yeah. You went like movie trailer. The only time the crowd went that crazy during The Dark Knight was when James Holmes showed up in Aurora, Colorado.
No. Oof. I've been in that movie theater. I was in that movie theater before it happened. Actually, I was in that movie theater the week after Columbine to see a movie. And not that has any association with anything, but I kind of string all those events together knowing that, like, I don't know what that means. I don't know.
Well, the most white trash I've ever felt, I think I've told this story before. I remember having like an epiphany moment when I looked around I was once tied to I was handcuffed to a fold out couch in a trailer park, in a trailer and the living room just had plywood for the floors. There was no carpet or linoleum or anything. It was just plywood. And there was a big hole in the corner of the living room and you could see the ground. And there was a Rottweiler barking outside. And you had to walk up cinder blocks to get in. And while this girl is doing things to me on the fold-out couch, I'm handcuffed to the fold-out couch. Her sister was overdosed in the back bedroom.
Oh, no.
That was the most white I've ever felt, probably. Just like looking around. She's doing whatever she wants to do. I can't fight it. I'm handcuffed to a fold-out couch. The dog's barking outside. The sister's, little do we know, soon going to have EMS here. And I was like looking around like, I mean, I'm not religious, but I don't know if this is what Jesus died for. Like my mom really worked a lot of long nights and worked her hands to the bone to give me a good upbringing, to make sure I went the right path in life. And I'm 20 years old and I'm handcuffed to a fold out couch in a trailer park with a Rottweiler barking outside and a young lady doing things to me. And it was a very eye-opening experience. I would say the most, probably as eye-opening as whenever I was in the bathroom at Ibiza's and those two dudes were butt fucking 2 foot from me, and I could hear that man's balls, the front of that man's balls, slapping the back of that other man's balls.
This was where this show went from. Like, this is the moment that we went from family show.
Well, that was another moment where I was like just kind of staring at the brick wall in front of me at the urinal, hearing the front of those balls smack the back of those balls, and like, wow, we've came a long way. You know, little Southern Kentucky boy. It's been a long path to get here to this gay club in this bathroom at this urinal right now. And it's like I felt that same way when that young lady was straddling me on that fold out couch while I was handcuffed to it. and the Rottweiler was barking outside in that trailer park. It's like, we've come a long way to get here.
Yeah.
We've been through so much.
I was going to make this a moment where I was going to be like, you know what, Kent? Yes, Jesus draws a circle around even what you went through. But I don't feel like that would be appropriate to involve him right now in that fashion. So we are going to move on.
I don't know who Jen was talking to, but in the back room, she said to somebody, he told me he mailed them.
Yeah. Probably you, I'm guessing. We'll need more information. We'll get that later, like down the road. Jess, go ahead and email the information who you're ever talking to down the road at 1159media.com, and we'll take care of that. All right, moving on.
Her sister survived, by the way. I just want to point that out, put that out.
Her sister did. I was going to say that, there are a lot of situations in trailers where people have been overdosed. That kid, that his bunk bed was on the other side of the shower with the holes in it, and so all night long he was getting overdosed with shower water whenever somebody took a shower, and he was in bed.
That same girl on a separate sexual experience, tried to use honey as that. She thought that would be sexy, and you know what isn't sexy during foreplay and all that stuff is honey. Because it's the stickiest substance on earth and it's not a lubricant at all.
No.
It's actually equivalent to like just spreading tar all over your body and then trying to do fucks with tar on all over your body. It's just,
I would say
everything you do is like dragging your knees on a gym floor. It's just high friction.
It's just the side of hair remover strips oh my goodness. Wow. Where did you come from?
She just looked like she had horror in her eyes.
What are you doing? I'm recording.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
I needed to ask you that. Could you turn on the sprinklers in the backyard?
I'll turn them on.
Not the ones on the
I know. I'm not the ones on the side. Okay, go ahead. I'll turn them on with the Bluetooth because I can turn my sprinklers on with the Bluetooth. Close my door. Oh.
I'm stuck.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, no, it's like a hair removal strip. I think you could probably use it if you had the strips, the papers.
Yeah. I knew that. I was like, I don't think this is going to do what you think it's going to do. She's like, well, we'll lick it off. We'll do whatever. So, and it's kind of hard to get honey off of your penis.
Yeah. Also, I might go as far as to say, I think a lot of people like the idea of honey, but when you're just consuming straight honey without any other supplemental flavors, have you ever just had a teaspoon of honey for the heck of it?
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
But it's not what you think, right? It's not like honey by itself is sort of like a teaspoon of mayonnaise. You're like, yeah, I figured it'd be like that.
Yeah.
But it needs other things. It needs
not a good sex food.
Yeah, man.
Like a good sex food is biscuits and gravy.
Yes.
You can lick gravy off. That's not sticky. And sometimes me and my wife, if the kids are gone somewhere, that we'll make a good portion of biscuits and gravy and just really douse each other up in the bed there with the gravy and the biscuits. And
now, I'll tell you. Sorry.
I'll dip my biscuit in her belly button.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah.
We'll cut a hole in a biscuit and put it around my wiener like a donut, yeah, biscuits and gravy, great sex food.
You know what's an interesting one, and this hasn't really hit the social media trends yet, but I'll tell you what's a good romance and barometer is you just distribute an even layer of Pop Rocks everywhere. Now, the fun thing about Pop Rocks is if you just put Pop Rocks in your hand, they don't make any noise. But the more exciting things get, things start popping and rocking.
Body fluids. Yeah. See, it makes it easier to find the semen, too. You just follow your ear. Like I
Just give me-
shot this somewhere. Let me hear the popping. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway,
Brisket, another good sex food.
Pop Rocks popping and rocking off your lower back, though. It's a little awkward. You're like, I didn't know I sweat there as much as I apparently do. Anyway, let's
I knew
move
you
on.
sweated there because you sweat everywhere. You are currently glistening right now like a glazed donut, and you're just sitting there. Your resting heart rate has to be like 500.
I have an enlarged heart, but I think it's from giving and, the good intentions that I have in sending items to people.
It's probably stressed over having to push that cock.
Wow. I think this is going to have to be an NC-17 episode. I think we might just actually have to put the explicit yes tag on this one.
Just saying, it would take
Did
a
you-
whole like.
Did you find that your old box of Hustlers or something before this? And
No, I
just
didn't.
seems like
I'm just feeling especially open today about
you
my
are
path.
and really
You can ask
wide
me
open.
any question, I'll answer it 100% honestly.
All right, I got one for you. You ready for this hardball?
Yeah.
What did you bring today?
That's boring. Today, did I ever tell you about the girl I dated that was obsessed with having sex in graveyards? I think I have told you about her.
Offline, you did.
Pretty sure that I'm going to hell for that relationship.
What did you bring? What did you bring today? Hey,
I've had sex
what
in
did you
more
bring?
graveyards than every patron of Dark Topic combined. Of Dark Topic. Hot Topic combined. Of Dark Topic and Hot Topic combined.
Oh,
I've had sex in
I don't know
more
if
graveyards than everybody combined that says their favorite movie is The Crow.
now, I can't remember if I said this before or not, but what did you bring today for us?
Today, I wanted to talk about something that I think is interesting, and it's called the Lazarus. It's the Lazarus effect, Lazarus syndrome. It has Lazarus heart. It has many names. Do you know what this is? Have you heard about this? I feel
I
like
have, but
Jerry Seinfeld setting up a bit. Have you heard about this? You heard about?
Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this? No, I have heard about it, but whenever I say that, my opinion of what I know about it is always much more dim than the elucidation you bring to light when you tell. So go ahead and tell. Pray tell.
So, the Lazarus syndrome, the Lazarus effect, Lazarus heart, scientifically known as auto resuscitation after failed cardiopulmonary resuscitation,
Doesn't
is,
quite say.
in
exciting.
scientific terms, the spontaneous return of normal cardiac rhythm after failed attempts at resuscitation. Now that makes it sound boring. What it really is somebody just kind of coming back alive after being pronounced dead for no reason at all that we scientifically can explain, and we still don't know why it happens. And the periods of it's very rare, but when it happens, the length of time that they're dead vary from long to short. But it is also used to refer to the spontaneous return of cardiac activity after the patient has been pronounced dead, and its occurrence has been noted in medical literature at least 38 times since 1982.
Really? Now, is this different than like Serpent and the Rainbow type of
So I don't.
thing?
What rainbow?
Have you ever seen Serpent and the Rainbow?
No.
You okay? Rarely do I do the whole, oh my gosh, you haven't.
Is that the one that has Sam O'Neill in it?
No. Nope. You need to watch it though. It's kind of it's a voodoo kind of it is so good. You got to watch it. It's based on true
Directed by
events.
Wes
actually.
Craven, starring Bill Pullman. Yeah, I'll have to check this out.
It's a banger. You're gonna love it.
Well, where do you think the Lazarus effect gets its name from?
I would say probably from biblical references when Lazarus was raised from the dead.
You are correct.
Okay.
According to the New Testament, Lazarus was raised from the dead by Jesus. And that was one question I knew you'd get right. Now, what about a few examples of this happening? One time, a 65-year-old prelingually deaf Japanese man was found unconscious in the foster home he lived in. When when EMTs got there, they attempted to do CPR, and emergency medical personnel also tried in the emergency department of the hospital. They also put him on medications and tried defibrillation. He was pronounced dead. However, later that day in the mortuary, policemen found him moving around.
What?
Yeah.
Just moving around, like walking around?
Just kind of like, what's happening? Like kind of confused, but he was supposed to be dead. And this next part is what comes up time and time again in these Lazarus effect cases. Comes up over and over again. So, yeah, they find him in the mortuary. He's alive, makes a recovery, but he dies 4 days later. This is always the case. Every time.
Wait, it's always the case?
Always the case.
They're alive. They're dead, then they're alive, and then they die again.
And what I've seen, it's more often the case than not.
Really?
Like this next man, a 65-year-old man in Malaysia regained vital signs 2.5 hours after doctors at the Sabarang Jaya Hospital in Penang pronounced him dead. He died 3 weeks later. It's almost like like a Final Destination thing, it feels like.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, no, that was a glitch in the Matrix. You were supposed to be dead. Things just kind of kick-started on, and now we've got to we got to fix things. How about Walter Williams here, 78 years old from Lexington, Mississippi. He was at home when his hospice nurse called a coroner who arrived and declared him dead at 9 p.m. on February 26, 2014. Walter made it all the way to the funeral home and was getting ready to be embalmed when he was found to be moving. And they suspect maybe the defibrillator implanted in his chest resuscitated him. Regardless, the next day he was well enough to be talking and cognizant with his family. He died 2 weeks later.
So it sounds like a reverse SIDS.
Very odd. And like I said, looking at cases of the Lazarus effect, this comes up time and time again. They wake up, they're fine, they die 2 days later, 2 hours later. Sometimes it's a matter of hours. 3 weeks later, a month later. But their time is always short.
They haven't figured out why.
It's not even something that I've seen them trying to explain in what I've found. This is a correlation that I have found with these stories. So, I don't know. They never talk about it. Now, that's really that's for the most part what I've got. I just thought this was super interesting. The Lazarus effect, Lazarus syndrome, Lazarus heart. But what it got me wondering was how many times has, especially, 17, 1800, well, prior to modern medicine, when we didn't embalm, when in order to avoid decomposition, how many times in the past did somebody wake up in a grave in a coffin, 10 feet under?
Yeah.
To nothing but the bottom of a coffin lid. Like how many coffins have scratches on the inside of them because of the Lazarus effect right now.
Well, I do know that there was a period of time where they would install bells inside of the casket.
Yeah, in a tube
Because-
that had a string, you wake up, oh no, I've been buried alive. You pull the string, it rings the bell, and that's where the
Yeah.
term night shift comes from.
Yeah. Yes.
Or the term graveyard shift. Because they would have guys that were on essentially third shift in the graveyards just waiting for bells. How creepy would it be? You're on graveyard shift, you're alone, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and one of the bells starts going crazy, so you frantically start digging down, and you dig for hours. Then you get to the top of the casket, and you crack that casket open, and you find a completely decomposed body.
Oof. And you look up, and there's the completely decomposed bodies outside of the dug hole with the shovel, and they bury you instead.
Yeah.
Then they go home and they replace you.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's crazy. You got any more, or should I?
I mean, I was waiting for your input on the whole thing. That was really the Lazarus. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about with it. I just think it's really interesting. It gets me thinking about things like mortality and the afterlife and the big questions.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any answers on any of those big questions.
Okay.
So
let me ask you this. Do you have an answer about, so I won a hoodie that was supposed to say Dark Topic on it.
Yeah.
Years ago now. And I messaged you one time about it, and you said that it would be going out that weekend. And that was probably 2 years ago, 2.5, maybe even 3 years ago. And I was wondering if you've got a tracking number on that I could.
You know what?
I know the Postal Service is slow, but like 3 years for that hoodie to get here.
I'm starting to remember now. If I'm not you know what? Back then, when you won that, there was a guy that was here named Jack, and God darn it, you know what? I think that guy might have dropped the ball. Oh my gosh, Kent, it's just coming back to my memory now that
just doesn't sound like Jack.
But it doesn't, or maybe it does. Maybe it does sound like him. We'll never know. And that's one of the things about this show is we present.
Well, I can ask him. Here, I'll get him on Marco right now.
No, it's all right. It's okay. It's fine. You know what? Actually, I think he changed his name and phone number.
He didn't. I talked to him an hour before we recorded here.
What did you guys do? Like an episode or something?
No, we're recording tomorrow night. I'll bring it up then.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get this sorted out.
Yeah, I'll look for a tracking number too while you're just before that.
Just look around there. If you threw the receipt, I don't know. Just try to find the tracking number.
I'll look for. If I find it, then you don't have to say anything to him, right? I mean,
right.
Yeah. All right. Well, guess what I brought today? Have you ever heard of 80s hits?
Like now that's what I call 80s?
Yeah, like an 80s hit, like a wow, that was a hit of the 80s kind of.
Of course. Yes.
What I thought I'd bring today is the backstory, the juice, the meat. The juice.
Oh.
If you will, on some of the 80s one-hit wonders, and what the heck? Why was it only a one-hit wonder?
Okay.
So let's dig into some of these.
Okay.
I'm going to say the song.
Okay.
And you can't Google it because I'll be able to see if your app is focused or not.
Okay.
But you got to try to tell me. You know what? I'll open this up. If any of you three wackadoos know the name of the person that did the song, I'll be impressed. Because I've got to be honest, that there were a lot of these one-hit wonders where I was like, I did not know that was the name of the band. So if you know the name of the band after I say the song, you can talk. Otherwise, don't say a thing this whole thing.
Okay.
Just kidding. You can talk all you want. This isn't my show. Okay, first one. Come on, Eileen. do you know the name of the band? Nope.
Sounds like a Gigi
The-
Allen song.
Wow.
I've never even heard the song.
Come on, Eileen. Oh, I swear to
Come on, Eileen.
Something spilled on your dress. I'm crazy, and I love my math. You know that one?
Come on, Eileen. Come on, Eileen. Poor old Johnny Ray sounded sad upon the radio. He moved a million hearts in mono. Our mothers used to sing along. Who'd blame them? You're grown. You're grown up. So grown up. Now I must say more than ever. Tora, Laurier. And we can sing just like our fathers. Come on, Eileen. Oh, I swear, well, he means. At this moment, you mean everything? You in that dress? Oh, my thoughts, I confessed. Verge on the dirty. Oh, come on, Eileen. Come on, Eileen.
Wow. It doesn't sound quite the same when you just read the lyrics to some of these, but that was a very popular song. One hit wonder from 1982.
Okay.
The band was Dexy's Midnight Runners. And if you've never heard of that name, you're not alone. Even their own parents haven't heard of the band that made that song, probably.
What are they doing now?
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Dexy's Midnight Runners, although not a household name, they played this pivotal role in shaping the musical landscape of the 80s with they're Celtic, by the way. So maybe that's another reason why you haven't heard a whole bunch of their other hits, is because the majority of their other hits are all remakes of Danny Boy. But they came out of they came out of their rolling hobbit homes for a moment to present with us this track, which
came out of Ireland and on Irene.
They sure did. Burst onto the scene in 1982, still remains an iconic and unforgettable representation of the decade's eclectic sound. Notably, the band emerged as one of the driving forces behind the second British invasion of the 1980s, a period when numerous UK based artists and bands made significant inroads into the American musical charts. Can you think of any other 80s UK bands that would have made their way into the musical charts around the same time?
80s bands, 1982.
You got a UK 80s band. I'll give you a couple. So you would have had like The Knack would have been one of them. And they did that song.
Who?
Well, no, they were part of the first British invasion. The second British invasion wasn't was pivotal, but it was the second one. So I don't know how else to put it. Okay. The process of creating Come On Eileen, though, while you're looking up bands from the 80s, was far from smooth, though, believe it or not. I mean, it seems like this band, this song would have just like, would have been a little bit of commotion, a little bit of tension, some pressure, and then bam, Come On Eileen was born. But no, behind the song's infectious rhythm and memorable melodies lay a tumultuous journey marked by internal strife. The intense and exhaustive songwriting sessions were a source of friction within the band, and eventually they led to one member of the band to depart. And the passion and perhaps the underlying tension translated into a piece of music that resonated with listeners nationwide, worldwide, from sea to shining sea. Nevertheless, despite that one song's massive success, it would remain the only major hit for Dexy's Midnight Runners. Not commenting on their status as much as cementing their status as one of the area's quintessential one-hit wonders. I don't know where they are today. I would guess a pub.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm probably not. So let me give you another. You ready for another one?
Yes.
Have you ever heard the song "Rock Me Amadeus"?
Is that Amadeus?
Yeah, yeah.
Amadeus.
Yeah, that one. By the band Falco.
I knew that.
know
You didn't
that.
give me a chance.
Sorry. Next time. 1986.
Yeah. Good year. That was the year I was born.
But it was a wild time. The year you were born was when a song, things are crazy when a song about an 18th century classical composer made people groove and shake their tail feathers.
Yeah.
This is Rock Me Amadeus. None other than Austrian punk rock sensation Falco made it. Now, most of us probably didn't understand the German stanzas unless you were acing those German classes in high school, but who could resist that catchy English chorus? It's like Mozart met modern day and decided to throw an electric party. With its unique flavor, this track didn't just saunter up the charts, it rocketed to number 1 globally, becoming the first ever German language song to achieve that feat. A standing ovation is in order. Here's the zinger, though. While Falco made waves with other songs in Europe, he, by the way, it's one dude, never quite managed to recreate that Rock Me Amadeus magic for the global audience. Still, we got to thank him, because without that, we would not have that song. You ever heard the song Video Killed the Radio Star?
Of course I've heard Video Killed the Radio Star. How fucking dare you? I'm an American, goddammit.
But do you know who wrote it? Who performed? What band? 1979.
Limp Bizkit.
The Buggles.
Oh.
Right? It was on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
So this one's... So now, a lot of people think of the 80s as that's when new wave really was hitting its stride. However, it had started in the late 70s, particularly 77, 78, 79, because those are all years in the 70s. But that's when the new wave movement started. And it was gaining a lot of momentum by 1979. And that's when the Buggles came out with their legendary Video Killed the Radio Star. It just wasn't any song, though. It was the song that most folks remember when they think of one-hit wonders from the 70s. Also, I don't know if you remember, but this song was played, probably not because you were a baby at this time, but MTV played this song so much. I remember just sitting in my cousin's basement eating cinnamon bears by the bagful.
You were what, 26, 27?
I would have been around 9. Well, 8 or 9 when this was really, when I was really just dancing to this song. So it wasn't just a song, though. It was actually a prophecy. The very video of this song had the esteemed honor of being the first ever to grace our screens on MTV.
Okay.
It was the first one, and that's why they played it so much. And
that was
why
the first ever video on MTV?
First ever.
Whenever I hear that song, to me, in my head, I can't separate it from Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Right, because, it just plays on the radio.
Yeah.
Unless you're one of those weirdos who just plays that Yayo song all the time. Hated that song.
Which one was that? How did it go?
Something, Yayo. Yayo. Hated that song. Ugh. It was on like the Brazilian channel. You could change it to Brazilian music. Anyway, moving on.
I just remember being over there there was a city and there was a bridge that had a big ramp down by the strip club in Vice City.
Mm-hmm.
And playing Video Killed the Radio Star over and over and freeze, and then doing the slow motion on that ramp and jumping things, motorcycles, whatever I could steal on that ramp. And Vice City would do the slow-mo thing where it would give like the cinematic camera. I was like, oh, that was a good one. That was a good jump. Jesus.
Then you go back and do
it. How is it going to get any realer than this? How is it?
That's what you would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those blocky
get-
squares look just like vehicles.
I remember I was just so impressed when I was like, oh my gosh, there's actually reflections on the back window. I mean, the reflections looked like, really bad, but there were still. So Video Killed the Radio Star actually topped the charts in 16 countries. And then I don't know if you remember any of the other Buggles hits, but they don't even remember them. So that's a thing.
This is
what's funny?
This is a perfect topic for you to cover because we share our Patreon with Lynn.
Stay my sunshine.
I was lying
left
on
them
the
off.
grass on Sunday morning of last week.
I left them off the list because I didn't want them to feel, bad.
Well, that was also
We talked to
1999 and not in the 80s.
Here's one for you. Now, this one you should be able to get this one. Who wrote the amazing one-hit wonder "Take on Me"? Oh, Chase raised his hand.
Aha.
Aha. That's right.
Yeah, but who was it? He had the idea. You see what I did? Because people usually say aha when they're like, like a light bulb went off.
Discovery.
And I use it as like, but I use it, that was, the answer was aha, but I used it like he hadn't said the name of the band yet. Right? Because the answer was aha. But it sounded like, I know, pick me, aha, light bulb moment. But the name of the band was aha.
Chase, I feel like he didn't really know the name of the band and he's just kind of playing it off.
No,
I feel like he's also kind of trying to make a distraction from the fact that he's actually the one that didn't send out the cat calendar. So anyway, moving on. 1985, Take on Me.
Thanks,
now,
Bob.
Wow. I never thought the name Bob would be like a really hard thing to hear, but it is. That's a Bob and Bill, both those names. They both have like
why is Bill a tough one for you? Was that your troop leader?
All right. So this one might be, what's weird for me, Video Killed the Radio Star and this one both like blend in my MTV viewing days, because right behind Video Killed the Radio Star, Take on Me was one of those that just like was mesmerizing on MTV. And you might remember why, especially if you ever watched Family Guy, because it's the one that was done in that scribbly sketch style where they went into the paper and then they danced in the paper and everything was a drawing.
Yeah, we got really obsessed with that in the 80s.
Yeah, we did. And then Photoshop and Adobe After Effects got the ability to do it. And so there was a period of time in the 2000s when everybody rendered all their videos that way, and it was annoying. So so another really interesting thing, and I do find this very interesting, is if you go back through these hits and you look at the bands and where they were from, very few of these bands were even American. Like there was something about the early 80s where you could literally be from anywhere and crank out a hit. And it makes me wonder, like, what were the A&R reps for the labels doing? Like, what were they doing differently so that we were getting such a diversity of songs? And it makes me kind of sad because I think we could probably benefit from that nowadays again, but I don't know what they did. And I haven't been able to ask an A&R rep lately about it.
Right.
But Aha's no exception. They are from Norway. So, and they made, they've made some other good hits too, but not just wanting to have a catchy tune. Aha went full mad scientist and tinkered with a bunch of those digital recording techniques. And so they came up with that really cool style. And so the song was cool, the video was cool, and it just climbed the charts like a skyscraper, especially hitting the sweet #1 spot on the Billboard's Hot 100 in the US. So that diving into a comic book kind of look was I think what kind of set it apart. I think the song would have done well even had it not had that comic book style video. But back then it was the song and the video in the 80s were almost inseparable. Like you remembered the video just as much as you remembered the song. Like Money for Nothing by the Dire Straits. Today we remember it because we think it's intolerant because it uses the other F word. But back then it was on our minds because it used 3D animation to make a song, and that was different. That was interesting. You'd roll down to the beach and you'd hear any one of these 80s songs, and the air would be, wafting with the lilting smells of banana boat, suntan oil, and more hair than you wanted to see, probably.
And you wanted to see.
But it was a memory. Anyway, so that one really did good. So I got one more for you.
Okay.
And this one, I don't know why this one really sticks out, but the Macarena, we all remember it, but did you know that it came out in 96? Like, that's how old it is. 27 years old right now.
Came out around the same time as Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba.
Yeah, it did. And then when I was
song in the gym while we played with the big fucking thing where everybody grabs a corner and you flap it.
The parachute
thing, yeah.
And then you gotta get underneath.
I get knocked down. It was the most fun I've ever had in my goddamn life.
I can just see a little tiny Kent just flipping. He's in class, and when they said we're doing the parachute thing today, he just slaps both his hands and he's like, "No way! What?" I could just see that.
They had the giant parachute, and then they had these. What they were, looking back now, I realize were moving attachments for like couches and stuff. It was like probably a 1.5 by 1.5 plank with 4 wheels on it.
Oh, the caster. Yeah.
And they just had like 50 of them in the gym, and they would just have some random days where like we get out the parachute and the casters, and kids just go wild, and Tub Thumping's playing. And I get up again, and you're never going to keep me down. And I'd have my buddy by the ankles, and he'd be on the casters with his chest on the thing. And it was really a different time. You'd spin him as hard as you could and just let him loose, and his forehead would just fuck a brick wall at 90 miles an hour. And then he'd stand up with a pop knot and laugh and give you the thumbs up, spit some teeth out. That was when kids really knew how to have a good time and play. You never survived a recess without fucking shedding some blood in elementary.
I was surprised that those little scooter casters lasted as long as they did, because I can't recall a time where we went to gym class and did those where a kid didn't end up with a broken finger.
Yeah, because your fingers would get caught underneath them. Yeah.
Yeah, underneath them, or slamming into somebody next to you. I mean, the most dangerous little things.
You know what you did? You taped a popsicle stick to it, and then you kept rocking out the Chumbawamba.
You did. You just kept going. And I remember, I don't know if this is just my elementary school, but my gym teacher had those really short gym shorts on, and he was also the track coach. I always thought this was really gross, but physically, everything should be tucked downward, like down south. That's just the way gravity works.
Hold on, what are we talking about? This man,
though, he would prop his straight toward the button on those short shorts, and it would stay there the whole time. It was the
like
grossest.
When it was soft?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought because I've never been able to do the hard thing. like where it tucks. People's talking about tucking it into your waistline, like when you. Because I remember getting a boner in school. I was probably in like the 5th grade, and like I would wear sweats, and I just walk around with my wiener hard. I didn't even know that I was supposed to be like ashamed of it. Right, 4th grade, and then my buddy was like, I just tucked mine in the waistband, but like I've never been able. My dick doesn't bend like that. I don't know why. I don't know if something's wrong with me.
Like if it's uncomfortable if you try to place it against your body, like upward against your
whenever
body?
my dick is like rock hard, it's still facing downwards. Like it never has like the stand. Like you ever seen a porn where a dude has got an erection and his dick is just looking him in his own face? It's just standing.
No.
Or like people can move it up and tuck it into their waistband. That would be so painful.
No, it actually everyone's
I'm just saying I've
genitals.
got a downward drop to my erection.
Yeah, but you have more problems than that if you can't. I mean, if you not only have a downward drop, but you have like a hitch in your giddy up, I would say that if you can't if it won't pivot upward, you have like a dyslexia, a dyslexic erection or something. We
I don't
should
know what's
really
going
take
on.
a look.
No,
You know what?
it works
You know
fine.
what?
It still gets rock hard. It just doesn't stand up like all the dicks in the pornos, which I've never understood. For a long time, I thought something was wrong with me. And
You say it's all fine because it
I've got 2
still does
children.
a thing. But also, that's like kind of like a person with spina bifida saying, well, I still have legs. Well, yeah, but. So I'll tell you what, when we're in Orlando, we'll
spina
figure this out
bifida,
for you,
I'll
buddy.
show it to you. I don't have spina bifida in my dick. It's straight.
Yeah, doesn't sound like it. Sounds broken.
Just like pointing. It's
Just
like
saying.
always like, just like, it's like it's like Eeyore's dick.
We'll
like
take care
rock
of this in
hard,
Orlando.
rock hard. It's like, what? Not that it matters anyway. Just
We'll take care of it in Orlando, and if need be, it'll be our first GoFundMe that we've ever approved. So, back to Macarena, though. I don't know how we got off on that. Los Del Rio is the band that did Macarena. Here's a little backstory. Los Del Rio, the masterminds behind this mammoth hit, originally dropped the track in 93. But it was a bit like throwing a party and having nobody show up. So enter a 1996 remix, and suddenly everyone was on the Macarena bandwagon. Now, you might be familiar with this kind of a remix. There was a podcast called the Extraterrestrials Podcast, and it was all the things you could want in a podcast. But just wrong time, wrong spelling, wrong capabilities to even find it. It was all there's so many little things that were wrong with it, but that were also ingenious, not necessarily an abject mistake. But then it became another show, the Neverdaily podcast, and suddenly everyone, just like the Macarena, was on the bandwagon. Let's rewind just a smidge, though, from that. Back to the song, not the podcast. This global sensation was actually born in 1992 when the duo saw a flamenco dancer strut her stuff in Venezuela, and they were completely entranced by her moves. Promptly, this inspiration helped them to pen down the opening lines of the now iconic chorus. Little did they know they'd just written the unofficial anthem for weddings, school dances, embarrassing office parties, Lazarus events. If you're thinking you saw a lot of Macarena back in the day, you weren't actually hallucinating. It made its cozy home in the top 100 for an eye-popping 60 weeks. VH1, which was sort of like the great value version of MTV, later crowned Macarena as the kingpin of their 100 greatest one-hit wonders. Now, VH1 having a greatest 100 is sort of like MTV having a greatest 100, and that being the greatest 100 players of the NBA, and VH1 being the greatest 100 players of the Latvian basketball league.
Okay.
So next time you're at a retro party and the Macarena comes on, remember, it's not just a dance. It's a global phenomenon.
And I had never actually looked at the lyric. Have you ever looked at the lyrics to the Macarena?
No, also never done the dance. Ever.
I'll read
Not
the
even
lyrics
once.
to you. I am not, and this is the lyrics. I am not trying to seduce you. When I dance, they call me Macarena. And the boys, they say, que so buena. They all want me. They can't have me. So they all come and dance beside me. Move with me. Chant with me. And if you're good, I'll take you home with me.
Oh,
So it's like if you find this lady of the night and you can dance good enough, she's gonna fuck you. And then it goes del a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena. Que tu cuerpo es pa dar alegría y cosa buena. Dale tu cuerpo alegría Macarena. Hey Macarena, hey. But don't you worry about my boyfriend. He's a boy whose name is Vatorino. I don't want him. Couldn't stand him. He was no good, so I... Ha 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 ha. Now, come on. What was I supposed to do? He was out of town and his two friends were so fine.
These are still the lyrics? Like it's just gone into like a dialogue, like a weird Grey's Anatomy scene.
Yeah, these are the lyrics that I'm actually reading. So then I joined ISIS in Syria.
Shut up. Now
I found my place in Islamic extremism.
That's not how.
They want me. They can have me. Hey, Macarena.
Yeah, well, they can keep those lyrics. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb, though, and say that Kent's done the Macarena. But I'm going to say Jess knows the Macarena like the back of a beer bottle. And she's nodding yes, and that's true. But here's what's going to blow all of our minds is I've got a strong opinion that Chase knows it just as well as Jess does. Chase, am I wrong? He's nodding. He's doing that sideways nod, the bobble nod that I used to get from whenever I was working with my tech support or developers from India. When they'd have to give me a deadline. I'd be like, can we get that done by tomorrow? And they would say, no problem. But their head was doing the sideways nod, which means it's kind of like us waving our hand, like, the little wiggle we do with our hands when it's iffy. If you get the sideways bobble from programmers from India, that means no problem, but also not going to happen.
So that's how you responded. I remember when I said, so when you're shipping that hoodie,
I learned from the best.
I've got one for you.
Okay.
Who sang Whip It? Whip it real good. Crack that whip.
That would have been
1980.
Mm-hmm. It would have been Night Ranger.
Nope. Well, what got me thinking about this is you were talking about one of the most iconic videos of the 80s. I remember watching this video when I was a young, probably 5, 6 years old, and wondering what the fuck is going on.
Who sang it?
Devo.
Oh my gosh. How could I have forgotten that? Devo with their weird hats.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen the Devo Whip It video, it's like a fever dream. It's what I would imagine doing acid probably feels like. It's just a bunch of fellas on a farm in what looks like the Old West, and they're wearing turtlenecks with the sleeves cut off, with the only part of fashion here that I agree with. But the turtlenecks are pulled up over their mouths and nose, and then they've got on these pyramid red hats. And
yeah, they look like party cups, but oversized.
It's very confusing. The video is very confusing and nightmare inducing, I feel like, in a way, if you're on the wrong substances while you watch it. Almost like a promise video. I
just remembered, and you're going to probably say I I think I'm not going to say something that's shocking here, but I remember driving in my dad's white Ford F-100 with him. I'm in the middle. My dad's driving because I'm like 8. And my brother won't stop singing that song. It's not on the radio, but he's like, you must whip it. No. And he just kept singing it. And I was like, I said, stop singing that. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because it's talking about bad sex. He's like, what's that? And I was like, you'll learn later when you're older.
All right.
And then he stopped singing it, but then as he looks out the window,
will learn later when you're older.
And then he stops singing it and he puts his little hands on the window and he's looking out and it's like a radio changed in his head and he just started singing the John Mellencamp song. Crap, I forgot it.
I just realized one of the lyrics for this is before the cream sets out too long, you must whip it.
What the heck?
Before the cream sets out too long, yeah, must whip it. The entrance song I've talked about this before. The entrance song to our high school football team is "Hard as a Rock" by AC/DC. Yeah. So it's like everybody's screaming, watching a bunch of young teenage boys and play a sport to a song about having an erection.
Yeah. Oh, I remember my brother was like looking out the window. He just stopped singing it because I told him to stop. And then he's like, come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like. And I'm like, Matt, stop it. He's like, what? It was a really sordid drive to the dump that we took that day. We got grape sodas in glass bottles. That was fun.
At Schnitzer's? What's it called? Not Schnotzlotzes?
No, it's not called that.
What is it?
I don't know if I want to have you desecrate the name anymore.
Schlipspickies.
Nope. I don't know if I've said it. If I haven't said it enough that it's in the airwaves at this point, then I haven't done a good job of marketing it. But if you're ever in town, you should go there.
Help make them a problem.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have anything left. I think we've talked way too much for this episode. All right.
Okay, bye.